Ready for the video again?
Let's do it.
Awesome, man.
Isn't this an age-old problem? Is there a revolution in it? What is revolutionary about it? You want somebody else to change. There is no bring much more comfort and convenience to our life.
Do you agree?
Definitely,
Yeah,
because of
I
science
saw.
and technology, we are the most comfortable generation ever on this planet.
Very
isn't it
true.
So when we say science…
It was vague. It was vague. As you said, he has like an organization, right? Like I'm guessing is that kind of how he's trying to…
Present practice. What's conscious? This is Vish and
Again,
and today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
realization, a true revolution.
I'm an aspiring yogi and I've been meditating for 4 years now. Love all things meditation, wisdom, and yoga based. And I'm grateful to have Gen today. I want to share more about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Gen. I have a channel. I do everything from mini docs, interviews, street interviews on various issues and topics.
Well, thanks for being here. Before we start, again, what does realization mean to you?
Again, I think I would have to say consciousness and doing your best to seek truth, whatever that is.
Let's get into the video and find out more.
Let's do it.
You mentioned different religions have got rituals today, and some of them dropped the science and glorified the rituals and went forward, be it Hinduism or any ism. In your experience, have you had a chance to see that science is slowly coming back to the people and the rituals are going down? I just want to get a feel on that. Thank you.
In general, sciences are understood only as physical sciences, which is a very gross way to live. See, the physical science has no answer for life. Physical science and technology can only bring comfort and convenience to your life, cannot solve your life situations. Western societies are enough proof of this, isn't it so? Yes? They do not solve any problem of humanity. They bring much more comfort and convenience to our life.
Do you agree?
Definitely,
Yeah,
because of
as I
science
said.
and technology, we are the most comfortable generation ever on this planet.
Very
isn't it
true.
So when we say sciences, let's understand sciences are also of esoteric nature. Sciences are not just physical, but today, only physical sciences are being promoted as science. About or other dimensions of sciences, are they coming back? My whole work has been just to strive for this. We are bringing this inner science into people's lives. It's made sufficient impact, but not enough, because the problem that exists in the world is too big. It needs much more work to make it happen. It has definitely done something. The sciences have been brought back, at least in some minimal way, to common people as they understand it. Even in rural villages in Tamil Nadu, we have done this in about 1,350 villages right now. And you see there is a change in the way they're looking at their life. They're making some effort to change their living conditions, which they thought is God ordained. All these years they believed, this is God's will, this is how we are. Now they're making some effort to change, which is the only way life can change. There's no overnight solution. If we work at it, if our whole life if we work at it, if we leave 10% change, it's a tremendous thing. Because social realities cannot be changed like this. People have tried to change it with violent methods. All you will do is you will replace one tyrant with many. That's all that'll happen in the name of revolutions. So, right now we have set forth a revolution, we call this silent revolution of self-realization. Is there a banner? No? Whenever we talk about revolution, most of the time, people are talking about changing somebody, isn't it? All the time, rather. See, you wanting somebody else to change is not a revolution, this is an age-old problem. Mother-in-law wants the daughter-in-law to change, daughter-in-law wants the mother-in-law to change. Isn't this an age-old problem? Is there a revolution in it? What is revolutionary about it? You want somebody
Great
else to
question.
change. There is no revolution about it. I am willing to change. This is a revolution.
I love that
This will bring
perspective.
about genuine change in the world. That I am willing to change my ways to make things happen. This will bring about the change. So this is the silent revolution, and it's a science as to how to change yourself.
This video being on realization was also an interesting one. What's your first impression, Gan?
To sum up the video, this is my understanding of it, is that you can't really change anyone. The only one that you can change is yourself. And that's essentially where revolutionary change happens, by changing yourself and then hopefully being able to inspire others to do the same.
Absolutely. Be the change I think that you want to see in the world. That's what I think Gandhi said, or some famous person. And would you agree with that statement, that you really can't change others? Your responsibility should just be to change yourself?
Yeah, I completely agree with that statement. Yeah.
And with realization, I know he wasn't really touching on this, but it seemed like he briefly might have just like, gave a quick glance about what he's trying to do, or this silent conscious revolution, as he calls it. Did you get much of that or understand what he was saying?
It was vague. As you said, he has like an organization, right? Like, I'm guessing, is that kind of how he's trying to inspire change?
Yeah, so it's called the Isha Foundation. It's like his technically volunteer-run organization, and they have, I guess, to keep it simple, it's like meditation programs and all these other yoga programs. And the whole goal is, it's actually called, his main sticker for that program, it's called inner engineering. What does that mean to you, inner engineering, right off the back when you hear that term? Inner engineering.
Yeah, I think it's developing consciousness, finding out who you are, but I don't know. I think it's a vague term. That's how I would interpret it.
Very true. Again, a lot of these things can only be experienced, I would say, and we can use words, we can use thoughts to give pointers and directions, but at the end, the key is to experience it. Now, that itself might come off as open-ended and wishy-washy, which I can see that perspective, right, where you're just dismissing, not even dismissing per se, but you're just saying, oh yeah, I can't really tell you. It's only an experience thing. But I guess this example, which I love to share, is, let's just say honey. Have you had honey before?
I have.
Okay, do you like honey?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's supposed to be a yogic superfood, as they say. So, anyways, in fact, Sadhguru actually recommends having, like, at least my form of coffee is essentially just warm water, a little bit of honey, a little bit of turmeric, and then pepper, and that's it. And it's supposed to really wake your system up and give you the energy. So, yeah, it's just a side tip, and you can try that out too watching. It's my version of coffee. But yeah, basically with honey, right? You can write a whole PhD on honey. You can do all the research you want on honey. You can do presentations on honey. You can talk about honey. You can sleep about honey. But wouldn't you say experiencing the taste of honey is a whole different thing than any of the other things?
Yeah.
So the same principle is kind of used as the analogy for a lot of these spiritual stuff, right? You can't, unless someone physically puts honey in your mouth, you can't taste it. And so when someone asks you, what does honey taste like? You can try to explain it, but it's a whole different thing than experiencing. Does that hopefully make more sense with some of the vague things he was saying?
Totally. But let me challenge you on this, because have you read the book 48 Laws of Power?
No.
By Robert Greene?
No.
So essentially it just talks about how leaders, or like how power is like, so it's essentially like a book on like the laws of power and how people hold it, how people obtain it. And one of the things that I've read is that one of the laws, I believe, is the ability to make promises through vagueness. Like, for example, Donald Trump really did this, like, honestly very well. He said, "Make America great again." That's extremely vague, right? Like, everyone's definition of that is, or interpretation of that is going to be super different. And I guess where I'm trying to go with this is that I totally understand your point of like, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you obviously can't explain everything until you actually experience it yourself. But do you think there might be some aspect too where vagueness can also bring about, this want for more, or bring about like this longing for more that a lot of us have? And sometimes vagueness is the best way to obtain power. Sometimes vagueness is the best way to obtain a following.
Great question. I think it's actually very relevant. I'll be a bit more personal here with this this question, especially with the Sadhguru as well as I do a lot of the practices through his programs and so on. In fact, I spend about like 2 to 3 hours a day doing meditations and stuff. So first off, to answer your question, I would say that's where it's a little bit of a slippery slope, right? I truly do think, just the simple example, I think it's the best example because we both have experienced hunting. There are truly things that only can be experienced, right? And words will not do any justice to it. But I will say, yes, I think there could be certain instances, and there can be certain instances to where people will gain power or have or maintain power through the vagueness. I think it's a great perspective. In fact, Sadhguru as well, let's go back to him, right? So I'll be fully transparent with you, right? He is a great guy. He supposedly is enlightened. He's never openly made this claim. You get implications about it through what he says and the way people talk about him. And he did mention his like Enlightenment Day kind of thing too. So again, it's implied. But at the same time, he says a very simple and I would say great, powerful thing, which is to never look up to someone or never look down to someone. Just look at them at the eye level. And so that's the same way I view him. I don't look up to him as a god per se or any higher being or lower being. I just view him as another being. Maybe he knows more than me and maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But at the same time, I will say, in fact, one of the major things I think he's helping to try to solve is misery, right? Like the miserable, stressed out world. In fact, I've heard many empirical examples, right? Many, we're talking thousands, and there's also scientific studies that have proven that his programs do work. We're talking scientific studies backed by Harvard and other universities, Rutgers, so legit places, right? Where they have shown, for example, like 70, I'm just making this up, but roughly, let's say 70% reductions in stress levels, 60% reductions in anxiety levels through these programs. Now, if you were to not do any of these programs, right, and you just hear these things and he kind of gives you these promises that if you do these programs, it'll work and that you will get this benefit, I was really skeptical in the beginning too. And I was like, is this just a false promise or, whatever? And even now, as I do it, has this truly helped me become enlightened? No, not yet, if that's even a possibility. Am I 99.9 or 100% of the time always joyful and ecstatic? No, but I will say, I'm a lot more in that way of, say, mind as well as energy than I was before. Now the question could be, is this, a real thing working or is it like a placebo effect? I don't know again. So I get the point. I think it's a great question. I think the key at the end, just to summarize all that we're discussing, I think it's important to be open, trusting, not suspicious, trusting, skeptical, but not suspicious. Because the moment you get suspicious about certain things, I think it's a lot easier to dismiss or even try something out. But it's always healthy to be skeptical because you always want to question everything that's coming your way. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess it does, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing this. And that was also my insight with the Sadhguru practices. Again, would encourage you all to try it out, but at the same time, go in with an open mind. Don't blindly believe in anything, right? And I want to thank you again for being here. Really share some amazing perspectives. And again, where can they find you?
You could find me on youtube.com/justaskged, and then you'll be able to find my channel.
Yeah, he makes some super cool content. Love his interviews and just video doc style videos. And I said videos twice, but anyways, check his stuff out, which will be down below. And if you have any other video reaction requests, you can also comment down below. And with that, make a great day. Take it joyful and stay conscious. Awesome job again.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Awesome.